If you can join me and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Toby, roll call, please.
Peter Turk.
Here.
Mary Schmeling.
Here.
Marlo Brown. Taylor Bouchard. Kevin Bird. Roseanne Hahn. Here. Susan Kessler. Here.
Yeah, thanks, Toby. Next, we'd like to approve the minutes of our two previous meetings in October 11 and October 25. I'd entertain a motion to approve the prior minutes.
I move that we accept the prior minutes.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. All right, the minutes are approved. Thank you. Next, we have recognition for two items. The Wisconsin Association of School Boards, which we're a member, honor roll recipients. I see a couple of our recipients here. So Steve, you want to take us through this one?
Yes, thank you. Each year we have the opportunity to kind of think about our community and the folks that support the work of the school district on behalf of the community and honor folks or nominate them to the Wisconsin Association of School Boards honor roll. And this year, I'm very proud to have with us two folks, Beth Reitz on behalf of Veterans Terrace, who I see sitting out there first, and want to just mention that Vets Terrace, we all probably know, is a wonderful local event venue, and they are always, under Beth's leadership, very generous to the Burlington Area School District in terms of hosting school functions, and often at very low cost, if any. And one example of that is, they've given us an incredible rate for prom year in and year out, allowing students to have a very elegant, low-cost event. The site has also hosted student testing over the years, giving students really a very optimal type of learning environment that's quiet, it's not distracted by the things going on in the school, so that they can do their very best work. And really, during the height of the pandemic and some of the challenges we had with schools remaining open, we were able to work with Beth and Vets Terrace for some events that really required social distancing and couldn't be canceled. So it really is a great honor for us to be able to partner with them. Vets Terrace is managed and maintained by Memorial Terrace Management Group, which is a subsidiary of the Burlington Community Fund, and is operating as a nonprofit organization. The income that is earned from Veterans Terrace is returned then back to the community. So it is a great honor and privilege to award this to Beth on behalf of her service to Veterans Terrace in the Burlington Area School District. So Beth, if you come over here, we're going to have President Turk award you with that certificate.
Hold on.
Next up, we want to recognize our other recipient, and that is Lucky Star Pub and Eatery. And we have with us this evening Travis, who's worked with us for the last couple of years and manages Lucky Star. We're very appreciative of his vision as a partner with Burlington Area School District as well. As hopefully everybody knows, they are a local restaurant here in town. And really for the past several years, Travis has single-handedly come forward and offered to host essentially school nights where a portion of the revenue at the restaurant would come back into support our schools for things that otherwise maybe we wouldn't be able to obtain on behalf of our kids. And really this has been Travis's idea. He's convinced ownership to go along with this and to work with our schools for the past several years. And when I look at just the last 2 years, we've totaled just over $3,000 back to our schools. And again, even in the height of the pandemic and all of the struggles that restaurants were experiencing, Travis never even batted an eye at continuing to work with Burlington Area School District. So with that, the catering for events, we had a wonderful reception this past spring for our retirees. And once again, he was there with Lucky Star to step up. So really do appreciate that partnership. And again, congratulations. The next recognition that we are able to celebrate this evening is going to be presented by Roseanne Hahn on behalf of the Wisconsin Association of School Boards as well. And I'll turn it over to Roseanne.
Okay, thank you very much. On October 20th is when we met over at the Monte Carlo Room in Elkhorn, and we awarded different school board members throughout our region, which goes from Racine, Kenosha, and all around through here, all the way over to Janesville. But anyway, one of our members received an award, and I'm very proud of that. Education, experience, dedication, and effort are vital to your effectiveness as a school board member. Educational leadership develops through years of school board service and through the members' attendance at different board programs. The WASB recognizes school board members who extend their leadership and service by attending state and national events and by awarding points in the member recognition program. Each year we recognize board members who have attained a new level in the member recognition program. To achieve levels 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in the program, board members must demonstrate a true commitment to professional development. Tonight, we honor our regional award recipient in attendance right now, and that is Peter Turk, who achieved level 1. Let's have a hand for Peter. Thank you so much. I hope you continue. And we do have some people that have obtained other levels. Susan, what level have you obtained?
I'm on 4.
4, and I'm on level 5. So it's a great thing to do. You learn so much during that time. And I think you learn the most from other school board members. I think that's the best part of going to these things. Thank you again, Peter. Congratulations.
Thanks, Roseanne. And, we're fortunate we're able to take partner with WASB, and they offer a lot of services and opportunities for school board members to learn. So it's a great organization.
Yes.
And actually, I'd like to share the news too. Roseanne was just elected vice president of the Wisconsin Association of School Boards. So, it's quite an honor or achievement for you, and it's a good thing for our school district too. To have somebody in the leadership at the Wisconsin Association of School Boards. So many congratulations.
Thank you again.
All right, next we're going to have board correspondence communication.
Okay, then I guess I'm going to go again. I did attend the legislative. It was supposed to be an all-day event, but because of COVID, they're breaking it up and we're doing it online as a Zoom meeting. And they had the first one on teacher shortages. And I think we all have to be concerned about this. There are 20% less young people going into the teaching profession. And they tried to get lots of people and the kids to talk about why they decided not to go into education. Now, way back when I was in high school, we had something called Future Teachers of America. And it was a club that was at the high school. And they gave us chances to go to the different schools and maybe help with the kids and things like that. But that is gone now. So there's some place, Mouston is one of the places where they're really working hard on this. But I was trying to think here. Educators Rising is a new group that's trying to get young people interested. And the sad part of it is when young people decide they want to go into teaching and they go up to a teacher and say, hey, I want to be a teacher. the teacher might say, I don't know if you really want to do that because teachers are under fire a lot. And maybe you want to go into something else, which we hope we can change that. They talked about the fact that in a lot of colored areas, black areas, we need more black teachers, and they're not going into it either. So it's a challenge. Because I represent the whole state, some of those northwestern schools, they can't get teachers, period. They have taken to paying part of their schooling, paying rent for a year if they promise they'll stay 3 years or 5 years. So there's lots of different things, paying for credits. And they've said, now maybe we could get some people to go into teaching if they're aides and then let them teach and gradually get their degree. And I don't agree with that because I'm also on the committee of licensing. I think that teachers have to be completely prepared before they teach our kids. But anyway, there are lots of different things being tried. It was a very interesting hour and a half. Leah Luke was one of the presenters, and she's a Spanish teacher, so she brought that feeling into it. And Aaron Edgington, and then there was an Amy also. And they are open up if anybody from Burlington. I talked to Dr. Roschlager, and she is aware of this program. I'd like to see something like that put back into Burlington, because I'd like to, it's called Grow Your Own. It'd be nice if we could grow our own teachers. It's a very interesting meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Roseanne. Gary or Susan?
I just wanted to throw a quick thank you out to the music departments and the choral departments for the concert that was put on for the fall concert. It's a fantastic job. A special shout out to Rod Still, who's always getting that set up. And they're long after everyone else is gone, tearing it down and putting it back away and hauling it back. So really appreciate people putting in their extra time.
Thanks, Barry. Yeah.
I also was lucky enough, Peter and I, to attend the honor students when they were inducted into the National Honor Society. But anyway, they were such good kids, and it was just so much fun to see them and how happy they are. And it was fun to be there to encourage them.
I have 2 items for tonight. My first item is I want to express support for Steve Plank and our whole administrative team, especially in light of recent criticisms we've received in public comments and emails. I have no issue receiving negative feedback, whether it's about the administration, the board, or myself. But these criticisms we received recently were uninformed. Some of these criticisms were uninformed, unfair, or flatly untrue. And therefore, they cause harm to our district by making it more difficult to retain, and attract talented people. As you may know, our board recently went through a superintendent evaluation process, and we had the chance to acknowledge Steve Plank's leadership and hard work over the past 2+ years, especially given the extraordinary challenges our districts faced during that time. In 2019, the board was excited to hire Steve as our superintendent, and he's more than lived up to our expectations. The second item I want to talk about is last Thursday night, we tried a new thing. We did a special board meeting, which was a listening session. And it was an attempt to improve the process of obtaining input from the public. And my initial reaction is, I don't think it's necessarily the best solution. I'd like to see us consider other options. I know members of the public are interested in a dialogue with board members on district issues. The board has been very careful to avoid a violation of open meeting law and deliberations on items not on the agenda, which has made us hesitant on having dialogue sessions. But perhaps we've been too cautious, and we could look for things or ways in the near future to hold a format where we can have dialogue while complying with open meetings law. And hopefully this will improve our desired goal of receiving input from the public, which we value, and also making sure that our residents are heard. So more on that. I guess the whole board will have to discuss that, but I think that's something that we're gonna have to consider again. Again, we're trying new things, but we're open to new ideas. All right, next is superintendent's report.
I'd be remiss to not offer my appreciation to Peter's comments. Thank you. The superintendent's report. First, I'd like to just start off with some celebrations. It's been a busy few weeks, and since our last meeting, a few things that are noteworthy that happened. First, want to express my appreciation for those of you that were able to attend the Karcher Middle School ribbon cutting and open house that happened on October 12th. I do know that a number of you were there, and perhaps some folks that are watching tonight or with us tonight were there as well. I'd also like to foreshadow that we are planning an Open Doors Burlington in April, where all of our schools will be open and available to the public for walking through and just kind of checking out. So the grandparent that maybe attended Cooper Elementary School and hasn't seen it, since they went to school there and now has a grandchild there, they can come and check it out too, because it's not the same building. And so we're really excited about that coming up in April. Also, parent-teacher conferences this time of year. That's a pretty standard opportunity for our staff and families to come together and talk about learning. Our secondary schools are just wrapped up this past week, and our elementary schools are getting underway next week with their conferences. Also, steal a little bit of thunder from Principal Burling, who I see sitting out there, just acknowledging that back on October 20th, BHS held a Unity Day, which was a day focused on our efforts around anti-bullying. And I personally got the opportunity to be here that day, as did Peter Turk, and I know Roseanne was here as well, because on that same day, Sheer Construction, along with Kevin and Karen Bird, they donated and dedicated a buddy bench to Burlington High School. And so you could see all of the students that were celebrating Unity Day with their orange on at that same time as we dedicated that bench. And I welcome anybody who hasn't seen it to check it out, because it's right out here in the Commons, and that honors Josh Bird. Also, this past Friday was Day of Non-Attendance for students, and during that time, that was our fall in-service for staff. And so between our elementary and middle and high levels, lots of learning going on Friday, October 29th. Also, just a couple of weeks ago, we kicked off our United Way campaign, which we do each fall. Certainly, we are thankful for the many ways that United Way of Racine County supports our school community. And then wanted to highlight that last night, the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association awarded David Shaffer with the Distinguished Service Award for his, and yes, you're hearing this correctly, 46 years of service to our football, basketball, and baseball teams as a manager. And so a lot of cool information about David. If you've not ever had the chance to meet him, he's an amazing man, and some great stories that are already out there and more to come. We know that there are some media outlets that are interested in David's story as well, and perhaps that's something that Mr. Burling might also mention. I also just want to take a moment to excitedly announce that the district staff are in fact operating out of the building at 209 Wainwright. That move occurred, I think, just 1 week ago. All the time is kind of blurring. But on behalf of the staff that work there, certainly want to thank the board and the community for investing in this remodeling effort for that property. If you've not yet had the chance to see it, please do stop by at some point. We're just getting settled in with how doors open and close and where people come and go. And it's got some work to be done still in terms of the exterior. Wainwright's not really quite there yet. And on the inside, there's a lot of final touches that need to be dealt with. But for the most part, it's exciting to have that space. Certainly it's an investment that will pay dividends for many, many years to come. And I know the question is, when will we be able to officially move to the boardroom in that building? And that will really just be dependent upon when the furniture arrives, which kind of has a big question mark behind the backlog of some of those items. And so as soon as Wainwright is complete and those things are in place, we'll be able to make that switch. But it's an exciting time for the district. Also, kind of shifting gears a little bit, also I'd be remiss to not mention that relative to a couple of challenges, and one that came up in our conversation on personnel, but just the lack of substitutes and lack of substitute aides in particular. That's something that Roseanne just kind of mentioned, that's happening statewide and frankly across the country. But one of the things that you note is we did temporarily up our substitute teacher pay to be competitive with those schools around us. And hopefully that also is able to just bring in a different sort of quality and quantity of substitutes into the district so that we can reduce some of the stress that our educators are experiencing right now. And then as we close out the first quarter, just thought I'd mention that we have had 164 COVID positives, and of that, 144 of them were students, 20 were staff. That is on our website. We do keep that up to date in terms of the dashboard. And it's probably a matter of relativity as to whether or not any person thinks that that is a small number or a big number. And so I just wanted to share as we kind of close out the quarter where we're at. Also, a few specific student highlights that are kind of fun to share this time of year. One is that the Star Stuff Theater, which is a mouthful if you say that out loud, this is the old Karcher Theater program that essentially for the last couple of years, there's been some level of worry about where we would find a permanent home for what was the Karcher Theater is now the Star Stuff Theater. And they are preparing to host their first performance in their space at what is now Dyer Elementary School. So this weekend, November 12th, 13th, 14th, you can come check out the students performing Once Upon a Pine, The Adventures of Pinocchio. And this show will offer everyone who attends the opportunity to see that space to start to get some idea of what it might look like when done. You might recall Dan Wilcock was with us at one point last year talking about some capital funds to redo curtains and lighting in that space. And that is in the works, and as everything else is just taking longer than we expected. So this first run isn't going to enjoy some of those features, but more to come for that theater group. Also, speaking of theater, how awesome that the high school's one-act play once again is going to be headed to state. If you've not yet had the opportunity to see Anne of Green Gables, welcome you to do that. And there's
Wednesday at 3:45
There you
in the
go.
auditorium.
Wednesday at 3:45 right here. is
No,
going to be that
it's a taping because of the possibility of COVID and that, you have that tape submitted, so it'll be the recording.
Really a great opportunity to catch that if you haven't yet. Also Wednesday, BHS is going to be doing a reality fair. This is a simulation experience that allows students to participate in learning about and understanding personal finance. So that's always a very exciting opportunity for our kids. And then this last piece about students is
40 community volunteers are coming in to help with that. The road
So-
tables.
so just for our anyone that might be watching at home, 40 community members will be helping out with our reality fair on Wednesday. So again, we couldn't do that without these community participants and partners. And then just a couple of athletic highlights. Our fall sports are kind of wrapping up now, and just I think it's always worth noting that particular to what we experienced last year, our kids were really very pleased to have what I would just call a more traditional athletic experience again this year, where they were able to have spectators and participate. And we had over 300 students participate in fall sports, so not a small number by any stretch of the imagination. And we're very proud of our high school girls volleyball team. For the 8th year in a row, went to the state tournament. That's unheard of, that kind of success for a group. And teachers, Terry Little and Dan Lynch, are the coaches. They were beaten in the quarterfinals, but lost to Kettle Moraine. So we certainly wish them well as they close out their season after what is always a heartbreaking loss when you've made it that far. And then lastly, I think it's also an opportunity to point out from a coaching perspective that in any average year, Burlington High School has about 19 different athletic programs, 12 of those head coaches, 12 of those 19 head coaches are teachers in the Burlington Area School District. And people always seem to, have a little curiosity about that, how many teach here. And in fact, there's many more that are assistant coaches, but definitely I think when you see that 12 of 19 are head coaches, that speaks to the level of commitment that our staff have with our students. And it also really highlights the comprehensive nature of our athletic offering. So again, kudos to our athletic program under the direction of Eric Petzoy. And finally, just a mention of district and school report cards. Essentially every year, less last year, the State Department of Public Instruction does issue school and district report cards. They are to come out by the end of November. We anticipate seeing them actually in the middle of the month. So we're watching for the release of those report cards. Just as a reminder, since there wasn't a report card last year, this data now is a little bit older, is going to be comparing growth from 2018-19 to 2021. And so this is really the era of the pandemic, if you will. It's also interesting that there have been some adjustments to the report card. And so the biggest shift is that the closing the gaps score on the report card will now be a target group outcome. And so that closing the gaps to target group outcome, that's really going to focus on subgroup data. And those will be really highlighting the 25% of the most struggling learners in the school district or the school in both English language arts and mathematics. So it's a different methodology. It's going to look different. And so it will probably take some more explaining when we can actually have that out publicly to talk about. In addition to that, attendance is also being measured using target group outcomes. And this is a change that the state talks about making to really try to sort of level the playing field, if you will, because some schools didn't actually have an attendance score or a closing gap score because their target group was too small. And so this is part of an attempt to sort of shift that so that there appears at least to be more consistency from one school district to the next. So with that, we are constantly monitoring the work that we have going on relative to the report card, and pretty excited about what is coming up next. So that's my report.
Thanks, Steve. Next, we have the bank statements and bills. And since our treasurer Taylor is not here, Ruth?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Sorry, to bring the computer. So the beginning cash on hand was $904,354.64. Deposits for the month were $8,439,559.26. Withdrawals, $7,391,686.73, leaving an ending cash on hand of $1,952,227.17, and that does reconcile to the bank for the month.
Thanks, Ruth. I'd entertain a motion to approve the bank statement.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, bank statement's approved. Bills, check register.
So the total checks for the month were $5,059,152.39. The month end batch was 102 checks, but we run checks weekly, so there were, the total for the month was the $5 million.
I move we go ahead with paying bills.
Second.
Our motion's been made and seconded to pay the bills for October. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Approved, thank you. All right, personnel is next. Earlier this evening, the Personnel Committee of the Board met and we approved resignations, retirements, and terminations, and appointments. And I entertain a motion to approve all of the above, resignations, retirements, terminations, and appointments.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, they're approved. Thank you. Donations is next, and I think the high school has quite a few. So Mr. Burling, do you want to do the honors?
Yeah, Steve already mentioned the Buddy Bench, which was a wonderful opportunity and it worked out great to center that around our Union Day activity. So again, thanks to Sheer Construction, along with Kevin and Karen Bird for the generosity for that. Steve referenced fall programs. Our boys soccer team had an unprecedented season. They were regional champions. We ended up losing over in Oregon in sectionals, and Oregon ended up being the Division II state champions this past weekend. So again, they held their own against the eventual state champions in that match. Unfortunately, though, it did not go their way for the final victory. Miss Michael Fleece donated $37.50 to the athletic department. Carol Layston for the Choral Club, BHS Choral Club, $50. And again, keep that first Saturday in January on your calendars. That's when we'll be hosting the Chocolate City Festival, for the music, the showcase of all the show choirs. We get show choirs from Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin that come in and compete in a very variety of categories because of the schools based on school size and numbers, etc. That's an exciting time, but Miss Johnson's had that season going for quite a while yet. Our baseball program, they had a fundraiser, but we had some other donations, $100 from Green Architecture, $100 from Kelly and Tom Doomer, $200 from Fragrant Insurance Agency Incorporated, and then again, sponsorships for WBSD. It's been awesome to see kids back in that area. Again, we talked about the soft open up of things there too. Our DJs are starting to be able to work in live in the studio again, and we have 22 students in our broadcasting one class, which again is a nurturing place for future DJs to help get that program back up too. But when we shut down with COVID, I believe we had a little over 30 students actively involved in our radio station and the program. And so exciting stuff, so please accept those generous donations if you would be so kind.
Steve, do you want to take us through the elementary level ones?
Yeah, I'll take them a little out of order. Lions Center Elementary School, from Neil and Carrie Johnson's, they offered some various different recess supplies that our students use when they're out of recess. And Lake Geneva Produce donated pumpkins for the staff and students as we came into the holiday here. At Dyer Elementary School, Thrivent Financial and Shoreline Group and Scott Herman specifically donate $250 for the student calm down boxes and the sensory pads. And then WVA's events committee donated school supplies to students and staff at Dyer Elementary as well. And then at Cooper Elementary, Christina Heinzelman donated school supplies to Cooper. And then the Beloit Elks Lodge, number 864, donated dictionaries and bookmarks to third grade students at both Cooper and Waller Elementary School.
Thank you. I guess I'd entertain a motion to approve all those donations.
We approve the donations.
Second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. All right, thanks. The donations are approved. We have 3 items for action on our agenda tonight. The first one is Start College Now and Early College Credit. And I see Ms. Emily Boyd coming forward. So she's going to present on these programs.
Okay, so moving on, just thinking about the spring of 2022 already. But first, let's go back to the spring semester of 2021.
we had 32 students register for 51 courses at 4 different colleges. So what that means is 70% of the kids last spring who wanted to take advantage of Start College Now or early college credit were able to do so, which is awesome because there's a lot of finagling with schedules that go on. Students were able to earn credit in 48 of the 51 courses that they signed up for. Currently, we have over 32 students signed up at 5 different colleges for this semester. And I look forward to meeting with you in the spring to tell you how great they all do. Moving forward to the spring semester of 2022, we have 45 students requesting 93 courses at 8 different colleges, 9 of those being EMT and 5 of those being CNA. So that would be a total of $24,559 through Start College Now, which is all of our tech colleges. As you can see, we have the 165 projected number of credits through Gateway. Our partnership with Gateway is stronger than ever. And our early college credit program, which is all of our 4-year universities, the estimated would be $32,963. So a total with both programs estimated at $57,522. Questions? Yeah, Barry.
So I noticed at least one student here is taking 15 credits in one semester. We still have a requirement that they attend a certain percentage of the school year.
Correct. They also have to take at least 2 hours here.
So it was all online classes?
Some of them will be online, and even though they're requesting 15 credits of them, you're not necessarily going to get all of them, but it would definitely be a hybrid model of online and in person.
Thank you.
Any other questions, board members? Thank you for the report. I entertain a motion to approve.
I move we approve.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, vote, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Thanks. All right, now we have 2 policies to discuss and then take action on. This is the second reading of policy 0167.3, public comments at board meetings. So we've had we had a first meeting last month, so this will be our final reading of the revisions to this public comment section.
I move we approve the policy 0167.3 of our policy manual.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
I just do want to mention, there was a comment last time, I think you made it, Barry, about making sure that we had caught there was an error, and so that has been corrected. I think it was about the address, stating the address, and so that's been removed. Yep.
Yeah, thanks, Steve, for mentioning that. Any other discussion points? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. All right, thanks, that policy is changed or passed. And we also had the final reading of a number of revisions to our board policies. And there's quite a laundry list of them, but these all are, I guess they fall under administrative updates from Neola, who is our provider of our consultant who provides us with updates on policies to keep us legal and up to date with the law. So I'd entertain a motion to approve the final reading of these policies.
I move we approve the administrative updates to the Neola policies as noted.
Second.
Okay, motions have been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. All right, thank you. Those policies are approved. Next, future meeting dates. Personnel, we're going to have a personnel committee meeting and a special school board meeting on November 22nd, Monday. And the personnel committee, I believe, is the BEA negotiation at 6 o'clock on Monday. Then closed session, though. And We will have a school board listening session on Thursday, December 9 at 7 o'clock. That's, open to the public again. And then our regular monthly board meeting will be December 13 with the personnel committee in closed session before that at 6:30, just like tonight. So I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. We're adjourned. Thanks everyone for coming out tonight. Appreciate it.